Welcome to the Feria Techcast, where we bring you all things science, engineering, technology, and innovation. Today we are joined by Marnie Wills. Marnie is obsessed with making AI adoption fun, practical, and non-techie. She's a multi-passionate entrepreneur and international athlete. She is on a mission to transform how we implement AI into our daily lives and businesses. Marnie believes AI can make us all superhuman, helping us reclaim work-life balance through intuitive workflows that boost efficiency and creativity. So, Marnie, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you for that introduction. It's great to be here.
Yeah, I am excited to have you. So, quickly, let's dive in. Your story, I would say it's quite relatable. I mean, from my own personal experience, you were an entrepreneur who outsourced anything technical, and convinced it wasn't your thing. Could you walk us through that specific moment or feeling where we are using an AI to Jasper AI that actually flipped a switch in your mind from wanting to avoid AI to becoming excited about them?
Yeah, so back in early 2021, after the pandemic, I decided to franchise one of my businesses. Being multi-passionate, I've always had one or two businesses on the go, and I wanted to franchise. And I hired a copywriter, a really lovely local lady, and she was very good at what she did, but I couldn't get happy with the copy she was writing to sell my franchise. So I just decided to be honest, I probably got hit with a Facebook ad about copywriting potentially. Maybe I was looking up some copywriting courses. I was trying to work it out all myself, and I got hit with an ad around Jasper AI. And back in those days, Jasper AI was actually powered by OpenAI, which we now know as ChatGPT, but back then we didn't know that. So it was just OpenAI and a wrapper, basically. And my experience with Jasper was phenomenal. It was, and I know this word gets overused, but honestly, it was game changing for me because all of a sudden I could talk to or request and go back and forth with something. At the time, I had no idea really, where what was going to aspire or what you even call it. But I could go back and forth with Jasper AI and basically say, yeah, I like this, I don't like this, or actually I could talk about this part of my story, or ask me. And somehow I don't know how I got to this, if I'm honest, but somehow I managed to go back and forth with Jasper AI, getting it to ask me questions about why I want to sell my business, who I want to sell it to, what outcomes we've got, who I'm looking for, what I'm looking for in a franchisee. I just was able to have a real conversation back and forth to the point where I got copy I was really, really happy with. And then fast forward, by onboarding a franchise takes quite a long time. So by November 2021, I think I started using Jasper around just after Easter time. So it must have been April 2021. And then by November, I'd signed my first franchisee, and I had used Jasper AI throughout that whole year for all of my copy. I also had an online health and fitness business, so I'd use it for the copy there as well. And I just felt superhuman. I felt like finally I was in control of my business and I didn't have to use all of my profits, to pay somebody else to help me in my business. So yeah, it was game changing for me from that perspective. And then I guess when ChatGPT came out at the end of 2022, I was already, you know, having loads of fun talking and communicating and requesting tasks from an AI tool. So it was natural for me to carry on in that journey.
Oh, that's a really interesting and inspiring story there. So you have a powerful mission to make AI adoption fun, practical, and non-techy. So for engineers and developers in our audience who build complex systems, what is the most important thing they should understand about how to make their product feel this way for end users?
Yeah, I love that question. Well, first of all, not being techie, so definitely not from an engineering background. Um, I honestly think that the more we can work with people to change their mindset around using generative AI as our new operating system, the better we will be as ethical users of generative AI. And what I mean by that is if I break down the ethical use of generative AI thus far, AI, as we know, generative AI is trained on all things, human knowledge up until a certain point, and then now the generative AI is able to train on it on its own data. And if we aren't careful, if we as humans are asking AI to complete tasks for us and not adding in our human domain expertise, our knowledge, our experience, our perspective, I think that AI is only going to be training on the AI, and we will be doing the next generation injustice by not adding in as much human domain expertise as possible. So I think for anyone developing any type of AI tool, or even in a complete AI operating system for a business or a person or to solve a problem, the big part for me is having the ability for the human to be able to share their knowledge, their experience, and their perspective, to be able to add value along whatever process is happening or whatever outcome it's being trained to do. I think that's really, really important. And if I go back to the AI first mindset, it is, do you have a customized AI that is trained or has the context to be able to collaborate with you to do something quicker, more efficient, more creative? It's more about the collaboration, and that's what I mean by ethically using. So that's my take on for anyone out there building with AI.
All right. So let's get practical. Can you walk us through one specific simple AI workflow that you implemented in your businesses that had an immediate transformative impact on your time and efficiency?
Yeah, perfect one is these podcasts, right? So I have a couple of different podcast workflows. One is we both use a platform called Podmatch. So whenever I'm matched or whenever I'm having emails come through to match with, I will go off to my agent that is trained to research the podcast, research the audience, link. It's trained on my knowledge, my thought leadership. I update that knowledge every week with my podcast transcripting, my products and services, any of the newsletters I write. So it's constantly being trained on me and my data. And it becomes kind of like my thought leader. And this agent can go off and it can research the podcast details and look into the audience insights and align the things that I'm talking about with the audience for the podcast. And then it will go off and it will write me a podcast pitch related to that podcast. So I can say, I think we're matched here. We would be great. These are the topics I could talk about for your audience, and a little bit of personalization there, like congratulations on your last podcast award, or congratulations on 10,000 downloads, something really personal, which my AI agent has gone off and done for me. So that is one example. Another example is I've actually built my own platform. So Podmatch and a few other ones I use are very American based, and I'm based in the UK. So for me, I want more UK podcasts. And there are some PR agencies out there, but I've just gone and done some deep research. I've created the data around, and when I say data, basically a fancy CRM list. And I've vibe coded and uploaded it into almost my own little CRM, which gives me live updates as to what episodes have gone out, particularly anything kind of related to what I talk about, which is business with AI, entrepreneur, mum, an athlete. So there's a lot of things I can resonate with and talk about. So whenever there's like an episode that comes out that's quite similar to that, I will be able to apply to guest on that podcast and say, I've just seen your last episode, or I can see you've had this guest on the episode. These are the things I would talk about. I think would really resonate with your audience. These are some of the topics and questions we could discuss. And then, would love to connect with you. And my podcast PR agent, I call it, does that work for me. So they're two workflows that have made life much easier for me.
Okay, so you propose a fascinating idea that AI is the solution to digital overwhelm. So, not the cause, right? Right? So, how does automating tasks with AI actually lead to less screen time and more genuine human connection? I'd like to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah. I'm not sure about automating tasks. I am definitely not an automation queen by any means. And I generally, in terms of workflows, will only automate towards the end of a process. Once I know that I, as the human, have been amplified in my process, I'm really big on that. I'm really big on starting off using generative AI to amplify the human and to be able to, allow us to do things quicker, faster, and more creative, and also allow us to add in as much domain expertise as possible. So I definitely don't automate too much of the processes. But what I mean by mental load is, and not everyone from your audience will be able to resonate, but as a businesswoman, always of two businesses, who now has two children, a family, house to run, a dog, and I'm an athlete. So I train 4 or 5 times a week and I compete once a month at a training camp. And we've got other competitions coming up. So, there is a lot going on. And I am very ambitious, so I put a lot of goals, a lot of business goals on my to-do list. And sometimes I forget. Sometimes I forget, kind of what I said I would do, or sometimes I forget how ambitious I am, and I'm like, gosh, I've got to break down that project step by step. So I have quite a few trained AI assistants. Call them projects in ChatGPT if you use ChatGPT. Call them agents if you use Copilot, whichever platform you're using, your AI assistant has the ability to have extra knowledge base. So upload knowledge and then context, so instructions. So I have quite a few AI assistants set up. I have my executive assistant set up, links to all my calendar, links to my vision, my goals, my strategy documents, and I am checking in every single day. This is where I'm at. This is what I achieved. This is what's coming. This is what's coming next. And then, my check-in is, did I move towards my goals? Did I do anything today to move towards my goals? Like constantly checking in from that perspective. So for me, that takes off a lot of mental load. It's almost like having your business best friend in your pocket that is looking out for the best interest of you. And often when I'm pitching in front of businesses, I say, you know, hands up if you would like a spare 2 hours a day. Lots of people put their hands up, and I say, put your hands up again if you would love a business partner who you can leverage, outsource a lot of your tasks to, including your strategic thinking as a strategic thinking partner, but you do not have to share the profit margins, right? And everyone goes, yeah, that's me. And that's exactly what I create. A strategic business partner. So I have that one as well. And I also have a board of directors, which all help me take away that mental load of being the top of the business, strategically at the top, being able to also then think about, here's my strategy, here's my vision, what are the tactics I need to do, and did I do those tactics to get me where I'm going. So that's how I use AI in business to reduce the mental load.
All right. So for the high achievers and perfectionists in our audience, what is one mindset shift that to make they need to make to stop overcomplicating AI and just using it effectively?
For the overthinkers and the perfectionists,
Yeah.
I definitely would say that I'm neither of them. So I'm not sure I can resonate with that question, but I guess my perspective on it is there's nothing to overthink when it comes to AI, because you can't go wrong. If you're using generative AI, you're using a large language model, you're using some AI tools out there, you can't go wrong. All you're doing is having a conversation. And generally, if you're a good human, you will be able to question the person you're talking to try and get the best out of them. It's exactly the same with the AI. Question your AI, ask your AI to question you. How do you have a conversation with your large language model to get the best out of each other? So don't overthink it. Just think about doing it, questioning, and then if you're a bit of a perfectionist, I think it would be, again, working towards training an AI model, like training and customizing your AI so that you feel comfortable with the output it's giving, making sure it's aligned with you, making sure it knows all about you, your business, your goals, whatever you're working on. The more knowledge base you can give it, I call it a second brain. The more second brains you can give these AIs related to you, the better the output in the first place. Therefore, hopefully, you won't be worried about what's coming out in terms of perfection, because hopefully you'll realize that using a customized AI is going to be better for you in the long run for what you're trying to get out of it.
Okay. So Marnie, what is a common mundane task that you see almost every professional or entrepreneur still doing manually that an existing simple AI tool could handle for them today?
It's actually quite hard because I literally have an AI first mindset. So I use AI for everything. So I forget that people don't actually use it for everything like I do. And when I mean everything, I mean like it plans, I use it to help plan every aspect of my life. So let me have a little think. Probably the most mundane task people are still doing. I don't know if it's a task, but I think it's a way to do something. I still think there are a lot of people still going to Google to find, to search, to get an answer. And look, yeah, Google's getting great. It's got an AI search result now and it's all fantastic. But at the end of the day, we shouldn't be going to Google because it's not suggesting what your next search should be or how else it could help you. Whereas if you went to Perplexity AI, which is my favorite search AI, you're able to give it multi-step instructions. I'm looking for, or I need to search, or what is, and you could add in 2, 3, 4 steps of what you need. Perplexity will go out and find it, give you the answers, cite where it got it from, and then suggest other ways it can help you.
Mm,
For example, um, I needed to do a search on a potential client that I had coming up. And I wanted to know all about her, all about her. I wanted to know all about her business. I wanted to know all about the clients she had. Her LinkedIn was okay, but it wasn't really enough to give me information. And I could have gone to Google and I could have gone, tell me about this person and their business, right? And I would have gotten a little AI search. I probably would have got a link to Wikipedia and a few other things, but I'd have to look through all of those citations that were said where to search. Whereas Perplexity, not only did it find all the information about her, all about her business, I found out all the awards they'd got. I found out some of the clients that they work with. I even found her entrepreneurial journey, which was really interesting, which is you can't get, Google ain't giving you that. So it was amazing. And, without being rude or disrespectful for her, my prep for that meeting took me 10 minutes. Whereas if I was on using Google, that would have been at least half an hour and its quality was better. So it's not about the time spent, it is about the quality of which I was being able to provide. So when I got on a call with her, I was automatically building rapport because I knew about her business, but also, I didn't need any of the, you know, excuse my language, but the rubbish chat at the beginning because I could already go deep with her. I knew a lot about her business and what she did. But yeah,
okay,
mundane
so
tasks, I'm not sure, but let's use Google. Let's not use Google anymore.
all right. So are you suggesting now that AI tools like Perplexity AI, are now better search engines to use than the old school Google that we all grew up in tech using?
100%. And you know what the secret power of Perplexity is? When you're on the paid version, you can also change the model. So Perplexity's AI inbuilt is called Sona. In Google, the AI model is called Gemini. In ChatGPT, well, we know it's ChatGPT, the model currently is ChatGPT 5. In Perplexity on the paid version, you can change the model. So you can do your normal search, which will go through Sonar if you want to, but you can also do the same search question, but you could change the model to Gemini 2.5, which is the same one that Google would use anyway. So it's using the same AI to find the searches. But because it is more agentic, as in you ask it a question, it will give you all the steps that it took to get that answer. It will show you all of the workings out and what websites it went to, and then it will give you the answer plus a follow on about what it could help you with. If you go and ask in Perplexity and you use ChatGPT, so you use the model Gemini and you say, do some research on all of the SEO and AI search research. I need statistics to help me with my sales and marketing around AI and SEO. And then it comes back with all of the information. And then you go and change the model and you say, you use ChatGPT because we know ChatGPT is super creative. Right, create me some potential lead generation resources that I could share with my clients to help teach them about AI search and SEO changes. And then ChatGPT will then be running the model to be able to do that in Perplexity. And then I go, great, now I want to write a LinkedIn article about this to promote this lead magnet. I then go, in Perplexity and I changed the model to Claude because Claude is great at writing. So all of a sudden, I've used 3 models in one AI to do different tasks, of which, it is ranks better in doing. And then if you want to go that step even further, you could use the labs capability, I guess you could call it, or the labs feature in Perplexity. And you could say, right, create me graphs that I could share, or create me a PowerPoint, or create me whatever. And the labs in Perplexity will go off and do it. So for me, my favorite AI is Perplexity for those exact reasons.
Okay, that was very insightful, and thanks for sharing. So, for leaders who want their teams to adopt AI but are met with hesitation or fear, what is your go-to strategy for making the introduction feel safe, easy, and empowering rather than intimidating?
I think I go in highlighting a couple of things. One is I go in and highlight that generative AI is the new operating system for humans. Changes, it has done and will continue to change the way that we communicate with each other, the way we access information, and the way we make decisions. The same way, if we look at every other technological revolution exists. We created print. All of a sudden we talk, and then now we could write to each other, right? And then the next step, I'm going to miss a few things here along the way, I'm sure, but the next kind of revolution that changed our operating system was from horses to trains, trains to cars. From there we got code, so we got the internet. So then that changed again the way that we communicate with each other, the way we access information, the way we make decisions. All of these things along our human existence have changed massively about how we operate as humans. Then we had social media, right? Which again massively changed the way we access information, communicate, and make decisions. And then we've got the smartphone. We went from a Nokia block phone, to a BlackBerry where you had the types, and then now we've got a smartphone that there's no typing. It is talking or swiping, So we've changed social media, smartphones. They've changed the way we operate as humans, and humans are businesses. That's, we're consumers, we're doers. That is how we have it's because of us humans. So AI is doing the same thing. So I always start with the fact that whether we like it or not, AI is here and it is changing. It is nothing to be scared of. It is just something that we're going to have to learn and learn together. And it is here to amplify our intelligence. And if you can think about, instead of thinking about losing your job, we think about how does it change your job description? We change the mindset from being techie to just having a conversation. We change the mindset from losing your job to creating more jobs. We change the mindset from needing to start with automations or needing to know how to use it and exactly what tool to use, to just getting started and using one tool and getting used to that, or one AI model and getting used to that. So we kind of just flip that mindset. And I talk about I've got like a 3-step framework. One is AI literacy. So we learn AI literacy. What is generative AI? What are the data securities you need to know about? And then the basic level of how to customize an AI and what's out there to use. And then the next framework is training AIs. So training your AI assistants, thinking about AI workflows. So that AI first mindset. Do I have a trained AI that I can collaborate to do this with? And then the next framework is building with AI, right? So we're at a stage where if you are using AI, it's good. I'm really pleased. We're all there. It's amazing. We're all using AI, which is fantastic. But those that start building with AI, they're the ones that are going to really change the game. It was the same in the Industrial Revolution. Those that used the machinery were good. They kept going. Business was in. But those that built the machinery, they're the ones that were really flying. And that is where we're heading. So teaching people to build with AI, whether that's building customized AI tools that they share with customers or amongst their team, or it's building websites, it's vibe coding websites, or landing pages, or it's, creating agents, it's building agents that are going to, take their workflows to the next level. So that's the third step of our framework is go from using AI to building with AI. And then normally, by the time we've gone through that, everybody's on board because they don't want to miss the opportunity to, like I say, have fun in implementing AI. So I try to make it as fun as possible.
Okay, yeah, that was fantastic. So, if someone listening is feeling completely overwhelmed and doesn't really know where to start with AI, what is one single 5 minutes action that you would tell them to take right after listening to this podcast?
Okay, so I'm biased because you know Perplexity is my favorite AI tool. So I'm going to say download Perplexity. But if you don't want
Okay.
to use Perplexity, that's okay. You can use ChatGPT. That's fine because everybody uses ChatGPT. It doesn't matter. But let's just say, for example, Perplexity, 5 minute task every single day. You download Perplexity on your phone every single day. You open up Perplexity and you do a search of some sort. Anything you're curious about, anything you would have Googled, anything that's coming to mind, just ask Perplexity to collaborate with you to find something out, do a task, complete something for you, create something for you. And then the second thing I would say, and then turn on the voice mode and start talking to Perplexity. Just tell Perplexity what's going through your mind, brain dump, ask if it can help you with anything, ask it to remember your conversation so you can come back tomorrow and check in with wherever you're at. And it can be about absolutely anything that you talk about. Just get in a habit of talking to an AI because whether we like it or not, by 2030, we're all going to have agents that we talk to and it won't be any different. So you may as well start now. There's no overwhelm. You download Perplexity just like you would have downloaded Google, or maybe you've already started with ChatGPT and just start asking it to do something for you or with you every day and then start talking to it every day and put a 5 minute timer on if you're a bit worried about how long it would take, or if you're trying to get into a habit of using it every day, just put a 5 minute timer on. You'll be so surprised what you can get done or even achieve in 5 minutes with generative AI.
All right. So, having been on both sides, what do you believe is the most significant blind spot that technically minded people have when it comes to explaining and implementing AI for a non-technical audience?
Yeah, so I think I answered that already. It's the human element. It's helping the person. If you've gone and built an AI tool, or you're building an AI tool, you're creating some software, or creating some type of workflows, automation workflows, it's the human element. Is there a way to amplify the human in any of this process? And does the human understand that they are contributing and should be contributing to uh, helping the AIs be trained on us humans? Because that's how they got to where they are so far, and we want to keep that progression going and keep that human in the loop as much as possible. So to answer your question, it's all about the human. We Me, I'm not technical. If you were giving me a new tool or a new software, I would want you to explain how it can benefit me as the human and the way I think and the way I act.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So, Marnie, part of the theme of this podcast is centered around innovation. So, for that reason, I like to ask every guest a common question on innovation. So, in your work using AI to enhance human potential and connection, what does the word innovation truly mean to you?
Solving a problem. Innovation to me is solving a problem. All
Wow,
good businesses are all good businesses come from the innate ability to solve one or multiple problems. And um, it's no different when using AI. You know your industry, you know where you are at in whatever journey you're at, whatever problems you're coming across now, or whatever problems you can see coming because you've got a bit of a thought leadership mindset around an industry or something you're building. Get ahead of it. What problem can you solve, and find a solution to that problem? And that for me is innovation.
fantastic. So, finally, for our listeners who are inspired to take the next step, without getting overwhelmed, what's the best way for them to connect with you and find the right resource to begin their own AI journey?
Yeah. So on my Instagram, business with AI underscore strategist, I have a link to my stand store. And my stand store has multiple free resources, and it also has the ability on there to book a strategy call with me, um, and find me on other platforms. So I'm on YouTube, and on TikTok, and I'm personally, and when I say personally, I am on every day on LinkedIn. It's not repurposed content on other platforms. It is me every day on LinkedIn. So more than happy to connect with anyone on LinkedIn to chat all things AI or anything related to business.
Wonderful. So, Marnie, it's been a really insightful and interesting conversation with you, and I'm excited to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Likewise.